Hi, welcome back to Sappho and her sister. We have a Celsius because it is now 8 o'clock at night and I haven't done shit all day. And Heather is currently cocooning herself.
Freezing my butt off.
And I'm in shorts and a t-shirt right now. Yeah, what are we talking about that? Yeah, so welcome back. Happy belated Thanksgiving. We will have a new episode out.
We'll just see which one we got.
We took a little mental health break because we were all busy messing around with pies.
Can I please talk about the pies before we get into things?
Quick disclaimer, and the video that I'm currently up editing, there is a segment where it was a little spooky where we thought my couch broke. Just a side note, my couch did not break.
Her couch because I flopped on it too hard because I'm a dingbat. But it's all good.
Confirmed couch is not broken. So clearing the air on that. That episode will probably be up way before this one, hopefully.
Yeah.
And go ahead on the pies, Heather.
Oh God. We thought this pie recipe was gone forever. Turns out it's not, for the most part.
All except the measurements.
I'm gonna go on a really long tangent.
Well, you better make it snappy.
I found a note on my phone where I was like writing down the instructions that I was given from my grandmother. Like I was standing in her kitchen. Now this is our grandmother, the one that passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So she made these really, really slamming pies, and I wanted to recreate them. So I was asking our dad if he remembered what, just in general, what ingredients she would use. And he knew all the ingredients and he knew what to do with them all. And I'm like, oh my God, so you're telling me that this recipe is not lost after all? He was like, oh, well, the crust was the only thing I wasn't sure about. And I'm like, I have the crust recipe. So that was great, but we didn't have any measurements at all. So I had to basically guess. And baking is a science, an exact science. So
yeah.
But listen, I did such a fucking good job on that pie. I am so damn proud of myself. When I tasted that first bite at Thanksgiving dinner, it felt like nostalgia. I could barely contain myself. It was so fucking good. Like the texture and the flavor of the crust was on point. The the filling was like melt in your mouth. So fucking good. And he had the audacity to give me a 4 out of 10.
So our dad, because of this is the first Thanksgiving that we are without our grandma.
First holiday, really. First family holiday.
Yeah, first holiday. So he was
Halloween,
like, well, we'll do something a little bit different. You girls can have like a little pie bake off. And we're like, oh, bet, let's go. So I thought it was any kind of pie. Any kind of way, any kind you wanted.
I specifically thought he wanted us to each attempt the apple pie, but
Right.
apparently that was not in his vision.
So I did pumpkin and she did apple. So the difference was she attempted the entire apple pie from scratch. First time making an apple pie with the dough. She did great.
I'm then tripling down on it. Like, I'm not being humble anymore. It was good.
It was good. It was good for your first apple pie. I will say that. It wasn't gross. It wasn't horrible. It was edible. That's all that matters.
I finished that shit for breakfast yesterday.
But then, so I made a pumpkin pie from, like, the filling, obviously. I never do a homemade crust. I think last year I did a homemade crust, but this year I got a store-bought crust because I wasn't trying to fuck around with it. I didn't have time.
Yours was a classic traditional pumpkin pie.
That's what Dad wanted.
You did well.
Yeah, I did. I just followed the recipe to the T, and that was it. It was a little toasty, but that was fine. And everybody gave me an 8 out of 10. Dad gave her a 4 out of 10.
Rate it. Yeah. Our granddad took one bite of
and he was like,
pie. He was like, "Did you put any sugar in this?"
She dumped fucking sugar in it. I watched her and I tried an apple and I had like a little type of thing where I was like, I don't know, like don't put any more because that might be a little bit too sweet.
Apparently it just runs in the family to have a sweet tooth.
But I do think you did need to add a little bit more cinnamon. I think that would have brought the sugar out. or maybe equal parts cinnamon and sugar.
I just love the way that our granddad can like just
Tell when something's
one
up.
single line coming out of his mouth just cuts so deeply. He roasted the shit out of me with like a handful of words.
He didn't even have my pumpkin pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Grandpa.
I didn't even notice.
I asked him 3 times. He said,
I don't prefer that style of pumpkin pie, but yours was pretty good.
it's a traditional pumpkin
That's
pie.
good.
She does a Cool Whip pumpkin pie, which is great.
The whipped pumpkin pie is stunning.
I'm also lactose
It's so
intolerant,
easy to make.
so I'll be on the shitter. So we not about to have that. I need to enjoy a pumpkin pie as well. But
I'm still mad about it.
she did very well for her first pie.
Our dad was like, well, I do have to acknowledge the fact that you had a lot going against you. It was your first pie from scratch, and you didn't have the measurements. But he still gave me a 4, so fuck that.
Yeah, I would have at least given you a 6. At least.
I thought it was perfect. Like, I did not think that it was not sweet enough.
I thought it was perfectly sweet enough. Yeah. Maybe just a tad more cinnamon, and that was it.
It was interesting that you, me, and John all seemed to be like, this is a perfectly fine level of sweetness. And then my dad and granddad were like,
granted, throughout the year, they'll buy store-bought apple pies. Yeah. And those have a shit ton of sugar in them. So that's probably what they're comparing.
Oh, I put a shit ton of sugar in that.
Yeah, but compared to the store-bought, it doesn't even cut it.
I think they're comparing it to decades of Shirley pies.
That is true. It will not be the original, but he's been
eating the same apple pie for 50 years.
Oh yeah, he knows that pie inside and out for sure. But
maybe you should help me then.
He also, which granted we were in my kitchen.
Apples.
I should have been supervising your operation.
Put you on blast for having an apple cutter and not even realizing that it existed, even though you were working literally right where it was hanging on the wall and it was staring you in the face the entire time while I was behind you cutting apples.
Okay, so I was making my pumpkin pie. She was gonna prep the apples. So I thought, okay, she knows how to peel. Give her a couple peelers, whatever, a trash can, a trash bowl. Fine, she'll be good on her own. I'll start making my pumpkin pie. By the time I'm done, throw that in the oven. It'll be time to put together her pie, right? So I finished a couple minutes early. I'm over at my counter where my pie or my apple cutter is, like the corer. And she's on like her second to last apple.
Yep.
And I walk over and they're all diced.
Yeah.
Like cubed. And I'm like,
granted they were small cubes, but
oh boy. And I'm like,
it still came out amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, so we have 2 options. We could leave it as is and say fuck it and try to make the chunks a little bit smaller so they lay flatter, or we could use however many apples we have left and hope and pray to God that they come through as enough with slices. She said fuck it, we'll just do it this way, which is fine. I probably would have done the same thing. But it was my fault for not supervising. Because I would have said, oh yeah, just slice them, like peel it, cut it with the core, and then slice it.
I just find it to be really funny that you think I needed to be supervised.
Well,
like this was such a baking sin to cube the apples instead of slice them thin.
Kind of. Honestly, kind of.
Wait, when I went over to John's for Thanksgiving,
did they roast you on the apples?
His mother was showing me. She was so excited about this. She has this like apple peeler, and it like clamps onto the countertop, and you put the thing,
and it spirals.
Yeah, and she was showing me. It's really
cool. Yeah.
I think she's dead set on getting it for me for Christmas. Either that, or she was like, "You need this right now." So I'm like.
Maybe next year you'll be good on your apple pie. Needless to say, regardless.
And they were like, oh yeah, the crust is too doughy. Like, have you seen the pierogi I make? The pierogi I make are like...
Pierogies are supposed to be doughy.
They are so thick.
They're supposed to be doughy.
They're incredibly thick. That was thin for me. That was incredibly thin for me. I had a lot of restraint.
So I think pierogies are supposed to be doughy because they're a dumpling.
Well,
But
the
the
ones
dough is
that I
also a
make,
little bit different.
my homemade ones, it's hard to roll out the dough because it does like to spring back on you. But
That dough is
also,
stickier. This dough is more
yes,
dry.
yes.
So that's why they were like, oh, it's more doughy because when you're baking a pie,
Mine genuinely is much, much more doughier than
yeah.
other pierogi that you'll buy around town.
But I, with all things aside, she did very well for her first pie. I'm very proud of her.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from a baker.
I still blew your ass out the water, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I will not.
All
Listen,
right, Christmas, I'm making an apple
I'm
for
making
Dad.
pie.
And then I'll also make a chocolate pie so we can have two at the same time.
I typically, if I'm defeated, I will accept it. I am tripling down on this. I did fucking amazing.
You did good, all bets aside. However, the judges
You
came
were
in.
acting like it was disgusting, but I was in
It was-
love with that pie.
It tasted fine. It
It
wasn't
was
bad.
really good.
It wasn't horrible. It was edible. It just wasn't what they were looking for, apparently. We got Gordon Ramsay up
They're
in the
tough crowd.
kitchen.
Our dad is also like a fucking gourmet chef. Mr. Fancy Pants.
Unofficially. All right, let's get into this tangent.
Fancy with food.
Let's get into this tangent.
Alright.
What are we actually doing today other than talking about Thanksgiving competitions?
We're looking at Chestnut Mother-in-Law, the subreddit.
Ooh.
It is batshit. I saved a bunch of posts, and oh boy.
Oh,
Luckily, neither of us have shitty mother-in-laws to deal with, so hopefully we won't be able to,
really?
to relate at all.
Yeah, that's true. But also to preface, I have not heard or seen any of these titles, so I don't know what's coming. This is all raw reaction.
I didn't read most of them. I think there were one or two that I skimmed through, but I really was just going through save.
And another.
We'll just let this be as long as it wants to be.
Yeah, because I'm editing it.
Do you want to start? Or? Well, first of all, it's going to be a pretty low-key episode to edit, so.
True. All right.
This one I did skim read through.
Okay. She asked my child to Photoshop her son. Okay. Wait, she asked my child to Photoshop her son. Okay, we're at Thanksgiving at mother-in-law's house. My daughter, 14, goes to the bathroom. On her way out of the bathroom, hang on.
Are you okay? Do you need help?
Things are attacking my eyes again.
The thing?
I don't. That in the background plus this in the foreground plus this in the middle ground was fucking me up.
Overwhelming?
Yeah.
We can cover the soundboard.
No. The racks are attacking my eyes. All right, let me restart
We
this.
should all get tested for everything and just see what comes up.
It'd be everything. Okay, we're at Thanksgiving at mother-in-law's house. My daughter, 14, goes to the bathroom. On her way out of the bathroom, mother-in-law stops her and asks, if I send you this picture I took of Uncle C, her son, do you have an app you can use to make it so he doesn't look so big in the picture? Rude. This is a 40-year-old man who lives 1,000 miles away from her for reasons such as this. She's psycho. Dee Dee was shook and sent me a text telling me about the encounter, so we left abruptly before I said something that would have ruined everyone's Thanksgiving. Who does this? Told DH.
Husband. I really hate the acronyms that they use in the subreddit. It'll be like, dear husband, dear daughter, you know.
Oh,
like,
that's what that
say
is.
husband.
I was thinking designated driver, but okay.
Right? Yeah.
Or designated handyman, I guess that could work. Told designated handyman. As soon as we left, he thought I was sick with how abruptly I said we needed to leave. He was livid. I'm not sure if he will say anything or not. Told Dee Dee that if she says anything else about it, to ignore her and send me a screenshot.
Well, listen, if this is something that's making their child uncomfortable, they should remove her from the situation. So, props to the mom. I want to clarify, and the post really didn't clarify. Is this
Uh-huh.
about weight or
It
just
could
like
be both.
general?
I think it was weight and also that she just flat out didn't want her son in the picture. And I've,
No, she wanted him to look smaller.
oh,
Yeah, can you make
okay.
it so that he doesn't look so big? Like,
Hmm.
does that mean big relating to weight?
I'm assuming so. Why else would it be?
Oh, they handled that with a lot more grace than I would have. I would have just fucking punched her.
I would have just left, taken everything that I brought with me, and then never went back.
I would have
Don't come
taken
back
shit that
here.
I didn't even bring.
No, because then they'll come after you.
I
You gotta
grabbed the
be
turkey I
smart.
just spent all day on.
No, no. Then they
Just
got
been like,
ammo. They got ammo. But no, I have had I guess I'll wait later on towards the end, but I have had some type of scenario with my other grandma
Tell me.
where she acts like a crazy mother-in-law.
Tell me.
I'll wait till the end.
Okay.
I
I just need to be reminded.
know, I know.
Mother-in-law invites herself on a trip with me and husband. Trip from hell.
Wait, did we read this before?
I don't think we
Yeah, I think you read it to me.
did. I don't remember it.
Hang on. If we
Let's see if
already,
it looks familiar to you. If it looks
I'm
familiar,
pretty
we can
sure
skip
this is
it.
very specific. Okay, I'll read it and explain.
I have this.
Oh, okay, then you read it. Then
You
I'll
can
explain.
explain.
Sorry, I forgot.
Trip from hell. I was this close to just letting him go alone. Had to taxi her around. Wouldn't even go across the street to the shop alone. Literally 30 meters. I don't know how to translate that into feet, but okay.
We're not doing all that. If it's in your country, it's in your country.
I contextually, I can assume that it's not a big distance. Every day she had to be taken here or there. At the end of the first week, I refused to leave the house anymore because it was not in my interest. That's not why I came there. And she was hinting to come next year as well. Good luck with that. Husband, peace in my mind. How do I tell her that? How do I tell her next time that she is not coming? We usually leave point A, our home, to go to point B in a different country where my family is, and his JM.
Hmm?
Typically in the subreddit, JN is just no mother-in-law. Does that mean his own mother-in-law? I don't know. I don't know.
There's too many acronyms on Reddit.
Yeah,
Please
these
send
people are
help.
annoying.
Send a dictionary, please.
His JN lives close by and then travel to point C in another country. So in B, we'll definitely meet her, but how do I stop her from inviting herself with us? As last time, she just sent a text to husband, I'm coming as well. Okay, you explain your thing. I'm going to try and find out what JN means.
Okay, so there was a story I think that you told me when we were on the subreddit thinking about doing it previously, and it was where girl went on, this couple, husband and wife, went to go on a trip, and she told her husband she was like paying for the whole thing or something like that. He wasn't really contributing to it. And I guess her husband was telling his mom. His mom was like, "Oh, I'll go with you." And she said, "No, like it's just supposed to be an us trip. I'm fronting the whole thing kind of deal." And I guess she told her husband, "Hey, go tell your mom that she's not coming. It's just supposed to be for us." And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, 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 I'll go talk to her." And then the day of, they get to the airport, bags packed, tickets in hand, everything. They walk into the airport, and her mother in law is standing there. She literally took her bags and left and went home and didn't go on the trip. She was like, "All right, you and your mom can have fun on the trip because I ain't going because I told you she wasn't coming. So it's her or me." Perfect timing. Let me fix my damn eyeballs, first of all. What the fuck is happening?
You're having sensory overload. That's what's happening.
I'm having visual overload. And we're back again. Okay, but yes.
Damn it. Not even breaking the couch further.
I'm gonna have to get like one of those little punchy things, and when you sit on it, it goes like that and shoots you up in the fucking ceiling.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. What is it my story next, or are you reacting? Because that was very similar to the one that.
I cannot figure out what some of these acronyms mean, and they don't have a list. So I'm just gonna give you the next story.
Oh, all right. Mother-in-law doesn't know anything about babies and rarely visits, but keeps pushing her ideas. So I have an 11-month old, a loving husband, and a mother-in-law. She wanted that baby so much. She's somehow not very present. Refused to hold him till 6 months. Okay, but she's old and I'm really trying to be chill with her. Whatever, mother-in-law, let's not argue.
What? I didn't throw it.
Her and these fucking pillows. You know why the blankets are down here? Because every time she sits, they come falling off into a pile, and then the pillows come bouncing off too.
Either that or they get thrown off because they start to fall onto me, and I'm just not about that.
Alright, continuing. Alright. Actually, I think it's the light mode that you have on that's pissing me off. Okay.
Tough, I always do light mode.
Well, I'm always in dark mode. Alright. She's honestly kind of manipulative. Like, if on her birthday we call her in the afternoon, she raises hell how she didn't feel loved and appreciated. Me and my husband, we decided to let her have it. We don't need conflicts and she's not a big part of our lives and she's really old and not that awful
You
really.
keep saying old. How old, OP?
I don't know.
I'm directing that to the poster.
It doesn't say.
Now
Let me finish.
like, okay, are you just roasting this woman, or is she like 90?
Could be. Crotchety old woman. Her language of love is growing vegetables in her garden and bringing it to us when visiting. I don't mind, I love it. When we started solids, my baby ate these veggies and I kept her updated. Thanks for the broccoli, baby loved it. Just to be polite and let her feel involved. Well, she's old and has a ton of outdated ideas about babies. I always say, okay, whatever, and never bring the topic up again. She keeps raising hell about this and that, and I just try to ignore it because she rarely visits and it's easy to avoid triggers. She's unhappy that I sometimes let my baby eat undressed so he can get caked in sauce and spill his yogurt. I never invite her around mealtime. She thinks my baby's cold outside. I stopped inviting her for walks with the baby. I try to be chill. My husband also tries to be chill. He hates her political views, inhumane at best, but he says, okay, whatever, and then he's stressed for the rest of his day. I hate her for that. Um, I don't know what's happening. They were repeating a lot of shit. She's old and we try to be chill.
Yeah, what's up with this? Like,
Okay, all right.
You edit your post.
Let's finish.
Has she mentioned that the mother-in-law?
No. Shut up. Husband FaceTimes her every day because she raises hell that he doesn't love and appreciate her if he doesn't. And he involves the baby so he doesn't forget his grandmother. He changes the topic if she gets political. Now the gardening season is over, now she can visit more often. She keeps bringing us fruits and veggies. I say thank you so much. The baby loved the tangerines, kiwis, persimmons you brought to make her feel appreciated. So yesterday we kept talking about the baby, and I said something like he was so hungry today, ate a lot of boiled beef and broccolis, and none were dropped on the floor even, and then we shared a tangerine. He loves tangerines. Later that day, she calls my husband and says that I'm doing it all wrong. Babies should eat purees and baby food and not beef and broccolis. So apparently, because of my politics of avoiding trigger topics, she missed how we did BLW. Mm, it's oh, it's something to do with them like going from purees to solid food, something of that. Because the next sentence says, in parentheses, hated baby or baby hated purees, and how the baby learned to bite, chew, swallow, and not gag and eat pieces of food for the last 6 months. So it's something relating to that. I'm not gonna waste my breath trying to figure it out. She missed how her grandson munched whole tomatoes from her garden. They were delicious and very soft, so not a choking hazard. Mother-in-law says I'm incompetent and overload my baby with adult food he can't process. He can't even chew, she says. He can chew and bite so well with his 2 teeth. If she had visited more often, my baby would at some point have bitten her because that's how he kisses people. We love that. He bites me multiple times a day, my mom and my dad in a loving way. He should not eat tangerines, they're allergens. I've introduced all allergens to the baby, showed no reactions. What I hated especially, she chose not to call me. She called my husband, and she specifically said to keep it a secret from me, but to alter what my baby eats and convince me to change my ways. She called again today. She makes my husband so stressed and miserable. I hate it when he's miserable. When my baby hears arguing over the phone, he cries. I hate that. Should I keep avoiding triggers and never bring the subject of food around her ever again? Or should I call her and have her listen to a lecture about solids? And that was it.
I would go off on this woman. Like, not your fucking child. Shut your mouth.
Right. I There's no parental manual that says what's a right way and a wrong way to raise a child. There is a safe way and an unsafe way, yes, but a right way and a wrong way, not usually.
Seems like
So,
these people know what is going well with their
right,
child.
they're watching their child while he's eating solid foods. They're making sure that they're not choking hazards. If he's already biting, then he's already at that stage where he wants to chew on stuff. So give him something to chew on. It should be good that he's liking fruits and vegetables that she's
They're
giving
doing
him.
everything right.
Right. This lady's just on about something. I'm just pissed off.
I understand not wanting to rock the boat, but also it feels like you've reached a point where you need to put your foot down.
hmm I think you all three, because her contacting your husband only just is literally stirring the pot. That's all it is. And if you call her directly and he's not involved, she's gonna go back to her baby boy and be like, "Oh my God, you're never gonna believe what your wife said to me." No, 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 no. All go in the same room, have a babysitter for whatever, watch the kid, all go over to somebody's house, something of that nature, and be like, listen, I don't know what kind of fucking beef you have, but this is our child, this is the stage that they're at. Doctors are fine with all his checkups, we're doing everything right. Here's the literature that says that this is fine. What the fuck are you on about?
Honestly, they don't even need to prove themselves to anybody because
They don't
they are
have to,
doing
but she's not
well.
going to stop.
They are doing everything within their power to make sure that their baby is getting good food
Right,
and food that he's capable of eating.
right,
It
exactly.
seems like
Fresh
they're
food.
very on top of things.
Right. But my thing is,
And
she's not
beyond
going
that,
to
they
stop.
don't need to justify anything. They just need to tell her to go kick rocks.
Right. Or just go to no contact because that's the only thing that's going to stop this woman. Is either calling her out on her bullshit with actual hard evidence that she cannot refute just because she's stuck in her old ways of how it used to be in like the 40s.
I feel like trying to like refute it with evidence, while it sounds like a good idea, I feel like it's just not gonna get through that skull. Yeah.
And even if that doesn't work, no contact. That's little or no contact. It sounds like you're already at low contact, but that's the only way she's going to stop, honestly. All right, what do we got next?
It's my turn.
Your turn. Let me fix my eyeballs.
Fix your eyeballs.
I don't know. It just started happening like when we sat down. Maybe it's my nose.
Those seem like very different organs. I feel like you would know when it's
No,
one.
like if I'm looking down, since my nose is crooked, I can see more of my nose on one side than the other.
Hmm.
Yeah, sorry. You straight nose people wouldn't know that. That's struggle.
I swear I had coffee today. I just didn't do anything.
Okay,
What?
going.
I'm trying to figure out this goddamn acronym.
What is it?
Okay, I got it. What would you do? Give mother-in-law a heads up she's alienating her son or not? I'm really torn on what to do here. Father-in-law died in February. We agreed before the funeral that he'd be cremated and buried in the spring.
Whoa. Roadrunner. I'm gonna need you to take it back a notch. I love Roadrunners. All right, continue.
Father-in-law died in February. We agreed before the funeral that he'd be cremated and buried in the spring. Now I'm like in my own head and I can like hear this.
Yeah, like Christ almighty. And you're like, you speak softly and like kind of mumble sometimes when you read that fast. And I'm like, when I edit this,
entire life is just what? Huh? I'm fucking sick of repeating myself.
yeah, well, pronunciate your words clearly. Your words clearly. Yeah. Pronunciate.
Pronounce?
Yeah. See? Exactly. All right. Continue at
Pronunciate is not a word.
continue at 0.5 speed instead of 2.25 speed, okay? Let's try this again. Gonna have to restart another time before that.
Father-in-law died in February. We agreed before the funeral that he'd be cremated and buried in the spring, due to the ground being frozen. After the service, sister-in-law decided she wanted some of his remains. When my husband begrudgingly agreed, although he thought it was weird, but he didn't want to rock the boat. Months have gone by. For reasons unknown to us, sister-in-law can't deal with burying him. Mother-in-law isn't really helping either. My husband is tore up emotionally over this. They're just not burying him. Husband confronts sister-in-law over Thanksgiving, and she said he's fine where he is. Husband said, no, he's not. This isn't what we agreed to. Had we known they would do this, we would have insisted on burying him in February. Mother-in-law and prior father-in-law have coddled sister-in-law for years and years. Bought her a home, she lives rent-free. God damn. Free home insurance, and only recently has at times paid property taxes. Meanwhile, they never give my husband anything equal.
First of all, how the fuck do you get that lucky set of cards? Because I would like that. Please share.
We found out after father-in-law died that the house they bought her was valued at $225,000, and mother-in-law is planning on giving it to her. In-laws also provided auto insurance, cell phone, and countless free babysitting, which of course adds up. When father-in-law passed away, mother-in-law said she would be fair, but of course we have yet to get anything. Meanwhile, sister-in-law is still living rent-free. Mother-in-law said she wasn't going to pay our mortgage off, but was going to give us $10,000 a year. Question mark? Despite giving sister-in-law her home outright, which isn't fair, but nonetheless we would take it versus getting nothing. Husband went to see them over Thanksgiving. I don't do well around people I feel are dishonest, so I stayed home. Mother-in-law says since she hasn't been able to transfer the title to sister-in-law, that we can't get what she promised us. Despite the fact that sister-in-law has gotten at least $20,000 in free rent / everything associated, multiple free luxury vacations since father-in-law died.
Rolling on the video. That's gonna bother you every time you sit down, huh?
I swear I'm not breaking her couch. It literally just makes that noise.
You couldn't even hear it on the first video, and that was
really?
loud. Yeah.
How is it not? Did you
Because I only use the soundboard audio.
You should check the audio on the video from my camera.
On there, it's probably loud because it echoes.
Yeah. If
But
you can, like, grab that and, like, put it in, because
no.
It'd be so fun.
I'm not trying to mess around with all that. We try and get these out like this.
Well, it wouldn't take long to clip just that one bit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Moving on, we're back. We had a photo
Yeah,
now.
it was. Yeah, my card ran out of storage. Okay. I don't do well around people I feel are dishonest, so I stayed home.
Mhm.
Mother-in-law says since she hasn't been able to transfer the title to sister-in-law that we can't get what she promised us. Despite the fact that sister-in-law has gotten at least 20,000 in free rent slash everything associated, and multiple free luxury vacations since father-in-law died, mother-in-law, for whatever reason, doesn't see or equate free rent to getting a home for free. My question is this. Should I warn her she's alienating her son? Because we're talking about moving out of state and not telling them where we're going or giving them our contact info. He is really upset. He's been bothered by how his sister is coddled since before we met. And that's the end of the post.
Ooh.
Anything involving money is gonna be super duper icky.
If your will and testament is not however many kids you have, it should be cut down the middle in terms of value. If, let's
Or else these
say,
kids are gonna fucking hate each other.
if one kid gets a $120,000 house and the other two kids only get 10 grand, that's not fair. So, if you want it to be even, you either give them all the house on a split custody, whatever,
Or
and they
something of
get to
equal
decide.
value.
Right. Or you say, hey, the process is that we're gonna sell this house, and whatever you guys get for it, you split down 3 ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should be. Now, it sounds like they're biological kids. When you get into steps and halves, it's a little bit more difficult. But for the most part, if you've been steps and halves for a while and you're on good terms, the same principle applies. Split it down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, I don't blame them not one bit. If she's not willing to understand that the daughter is being coddled and she's gotten everything for free, first of all, wouldn't be my fucking kid. Hell no. You're at least paying rent. I don't give a flying fuck. But absolutely not. If I would be that nosy person to try and figure out how much she's getting for free, and then I'd be like, okay, this is how much rent costs. This is how much this is. This is how much this is, and add it all up for however long this has been going on, roughly, and give it to her and be like, okay, this is what you're giving us. This is what you're giving her.
Mm-hmm.
By proxy, not giving her anything to pay for is still giving her something. So you figure out what you want to do, because we're leaving.
I think this is a situation where the two of them should sit the mother down and just be like, I know this is incredibly difficult for you, but we're reaching a breaking point here
Mm-hmm.
because this is ridiculous. Things just keep adding up, and you need to realize that this is really harmful and it's just hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're literally playing favorites with your own children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, about the burial thing, like, that's so difficult. Because I know it's very, very difficult to let go, and that burial is, like, hugely symbolic of letting go. Oh, the cat's playing with a bag. Yeah, if you hear rustling, Lily's got
a Target bag.
Yeah, that paper bag.
Her
But yeah,
favorite.
I understand that it's emotional for them and because they've had
Keeps
to die bonded.
ramming her head into it, and I'm like, oh, that hurt. What was that about?
I feel like it got worse for them because they were able to prolong the burial,
Mm-hmm.
which ultimately kind of just gotta bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Like, I know some people don't bury their cremated loved ones and they'll hang on to the cremains.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you just say cremains?
yeah, that's what they're called.
Oh, I thought it was remains or cremation. I don't know. Words are hard.
Cremains is genuinely a term that's used, but
I did not know that.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think maybe they should talk it out and reconsider because it seems like for I I would be on the side of actually burying him just for closure purposes and to be like, this really happened. He really is gone. Let's close that chapter. We can always come visit him.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to like hang on to the remains, like
Well, that's perfectly
I feel
valuable
like
too.
I feel like they should talk about it because initially it was a decision where they were going to bury him, and it feels bizarre. Like,
So he was cremated regardless. They're just
yeah,
wondering if they should bury all the remains or not. Fucking split them up. It's ashes.
it's it's
There you go.
complicated because it's this definitely has everything to do with the way that they're processing grief, and it's hard. It sucks.
If
I feel
some
like they
people,
should talk that out.
if some people want the person
But
buried
it's lame.
regardless, and then other people
It would
want,
be very weird to split it up. Like either bury everything or
not really.
have everything not buried.
I have half of my mom's dog's ashes. She has the other half, but it's it's ashes. It's not like bones. You're not going to put them
Yeah,
back together.
I
If
know.
you still want that piece of someone, you only need a little bit. Put it in a necklace, put it in a little vial.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole lot, just a little something, and then you can bury the rest. Then, it's not like, what are you taking? I don't know,
Yeah.
a teeny tiny square footage of his skin. Relax. Like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. If you want
Yeah.
both people to be happy, split it up or be like, hey, we only want this much amount to put in this little trinket for us to keep. It's the only thing we want. Fine, go for it. And then you can do whatever you want with the rest of it. But if you think about it, when people want their ashes spread, they're kind of going all over.
Yeah.
They're not staying all in one place.
I always hated the concept of ashes being spread because it's like you're just like blown into the wind.
Yeah, I mean,
Like there's nothing left of you.
it is kind of cool because, like, different parts of you could land at different places, which I think is kind of sweet. But it's also like, you are kind of split up, but you're gone anyway. Like,
From a grieving perspective,
mhm,
I remember Dad mentioning about
mhm,
the way his best friend was cremated and his ashes were scattered, and not only did losing his best friend just absolutely rip his heart out,
oh
he
yeah,
was saying that it does hurt that he doesn't have like a place to go to like
visit
go
or
see
talk
him
to
again,
him.
like
Yeah,
it's symbolic. And like he's not a dick about it, but it's like I completely understand that feeling,
mhm,
of like wanting to be able to go back to where somebody is.
yeah. But even
But also I am on the side of if the person wants something specific, you better fucking follow that to the letter.
right,
Because
like,
it's the last thing that you can do for them. So
right.
do
If
well by
if
them.
they specified it in their will, you should do it by the will,
Mhm.
for sure. My mother-in-law is obsessed with my uterus. Okay.
Just from that title, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a lot.
My mother-in-law is so annoying. LOL. Lots of letters. My husband and I have been married for almost 3 years, but ever since before we got engaged, she would jokingly say, "Don't practice safe sex. I want grandbabies." Ugh. We always brushed it off as weird and moved on. Well, now I'm 18 weeks pregnant, like 2 years later, and she is so annoying over this. When we announced we FaceTimed her, we all live overseas, and when we did tell her, I was 4 weeks, 4 days, or whatever. She went back that many days in her calendar and put my grandchild's conception date in her calendar and screenshotted it and sent it to us. Gag emoji.
What the fuck?
So fucking weird. And also, it wasn't conception date, it was the first day of my last period.
Oh.
I forgot they did it like that. She did laugh cry emoji. I didn't even want to tell her that early because she's a huge mouth and everything ends up on Facebook. But anyways, now that I'm on my second trimester and whatnot, she won't stop saying how she wishes she was here to touch my belly and feel the baby.
Oh,
I can't
God.
even feel him yet, and the only person I'm letting touch my belly is my husband, but she doesn't care. But she never bothers asking how I am, just talks about the baby I'm incubating for her. I roll. Also, she always calls my unborn son my baby or her baby,
Whoa.
and that really makes me so mad. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm so worried about when he's born and how insane she will be then. Thankfully, we are in another country, so the distance will help.
Thank God they live overseas. Oh my God.
Oh my word.
Babies are not your toys. They're not a status symbol. They are human beings. Yeah.
I am under the uh belief that if you are a mother-in-law,
Shut your fucking mouth.
you birthed someone. You know how it is. Don't be like that if you wouldn't want it done to you when you weren't pregnant. That's my
Yeah.
thing.
Why wouldn't they be able to understand? Like,
I don't get it. And the fact that she like calls the thing that grosses me out the most is the my baby, her baby. That oh my god, I would punch her in the face. I'd be like,
disgusting.
"Oh, so it's your kid, so you had sex with your son? Oh, glad to see it." Like that's what I would say.
Mhm.
If it's your baby, then you had sex with your son.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah. And I would just go no contact at that. I feel like a lot of these are just low or no contact, I guess, resolutions. There's no real advice because these people won't
Or
change. These women won't
therapy,
change.
or talk to each other,
There's
communicate with somebody.
there's no communicating with these people. I swear to God, Heather, the amount of Reddit stories I've watched on other YouTube channels about shit like this, there's no resolution.
Yeah.
They're just angry old bitchy women in menopause, and they need to be like put in their place, but they can't because they're Karens in some way. Sorry.
No, you got a point.
Apparently, I am getting feisty. My bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
Normally, I'm the spicy one.
Hmm.
Classic white wearing, drama causing mother in law.
White
Husband,
wearing?
like, like weddings, like wearing white to a wedding. Hmm. Husband and I got married this past September. We decided on a micro wedding to have a more intimate experience with close friends and family and avoid family drama.
Hmm.
So we thought. Some background and context on our family dynamics and culture background. There's always been family drama surrounding my side of the family, so we anticipated this and had a firm talk with members of the family on the invitation list. There was some pushback on my bio father not being invited, but since we were saving for the wedding we wanted, then our say was final. Husband, on the other hand, has always had a good relationship with his family. He was close to his parents and his sisters.
Girl,
Sorry!
we are not speed reading here. The tortoise always wins the race, not the hare.
I hate this shit. My hair keeps getting
Do you
caught
have
in the
hair
buttons. Maybe.
It's in the bathroom. I'm not getting
I'll
it.
get it after we stop the camera next.
Okay. Continue.
I thought we all had a great relationship for the past 5 years, going over for holidays and birthdays, and it seemed like I was welcomed into the family, which is why my mother-in-law wearing white perplexes the hell out of me. My husband and I come from cultures where we typically have different wedding traditions, but since we were raised in the States and not really familiar with our own cultural wedding traditions, we opted for a modern wedding. My husband would be in a black tux and I would wear a white gown. I didn't care about dress codes if my guests wanted to
See what happens if you talk too fast? You fuck up.
I didn't care about dress. Well, these people type in run-on sentences.
I know, it's Reddit. Deal with it.
I didn't care about dress codes. If my guests wanted to come wearing sequins, sparkly, bodycon, or a swimsuit, come however you want. But no white swimsuits. Just no white. Story time. Maybe I messed up here, but I allowed husband to be the person to communicate with his family despite me being the master planner for the wedding. This means the dress code and the color palette were sent to husband and he was supposed to communicate this with his family. They wanted to wear their traditional wedding clothing, which was fine, but we mentioned that this was not going to be a cultural wedding. The rest of the communication I'm not aware of, since I told husband to take care of it. On the day of my wedding, I came out of the salon all dressed in makeup and hair ready. I'm in the car and some of my bridesmaids and I check Instagram and saw my sister-in-law post a picture of their family and my mother-in-law's blatantly wearing white. I felt my blood run cold and called my husband and asked him what was going on. Sister-in-law backed their mom up and said it was champagne and that it was their cultural clothing for weddings.
Eggshell, champagne, off-white,
If
cum
it's
color.
too close, don't do it.
Fuck it.
Cum color.
Absolutely not. Cream. No.
Father-in-law said they were going to wear what they were going to wear, and that conversation was shut down immediately. Pretty much hanging up on husband. Here I am, sobbing hysterically and crying.
Don't come.
Telling everyone she can be the bride for the night instead, and I'm going home. Bless my parents for coming to comfort me and telling me I was the prettiest girl like good parents do. So I didn't end up backing out. Otherwise, the entire night, they went without speaking to us. We even went around the table to say hi to everyone, and we did not even get a congratulations from mother or father-in-law. Did not get a card to congratulate us whatsoever. I learned later on that all of our guests tried offering a shawl and alternative dresses they brought so my mother-in-law could change into it, but she refused because this was the dress to wear as the mother of the groom in their culture.
I don't give a fuck. No. Sorry.
Like,
was that it?
No. But if that was a wedding that was being held in accordance to the tradition of that particular culture,
fine.
But we're talking about a completely different culture that she is not respecting and adhering to.
Yeah, absolutely. Continue. I got words.
My husband also tried pleading with her to change into something different, and she said if she couldn't wear what she wanted to wear, then she was going to leave.
Bye.
She hasn't spoken to us
Felicia.
since. She hasn't spoken to us since, and I'm just perplexed at her behavior, especially since we otherwise had a great relationship. Husband is staying firm and also going no contact with his mom. I almost said North Carolina. With his fucking reason. With his mom, because he similarly felt disrespected on this day. From the bottom of my heart, I hope it kills her on the inside because that is her one and only baby son. See if I care that your lineage ends because of me. Love this man.
Oh, the couch is cracking?
Yeah, because of me.
Alright, we back?
We're back.
Okay. So, I agree. If this was a traditional wedding, then mother-in-law is appropriate. However, it was communicated to her and the rest of the family on his side via him what the dress code was and how shit was supposed to go down. They just didn't listen. There must be some type of spite, some type of animosity that they didn't outwardly portray to OP and her husband and their son. So I don't know what the beef is. I would love to know. That's some tea right there. But there's no honestly, if I was OP the bride, I would be like, listen, lovey, honey, boo bear, sugar plum. That bitch ain't coming. Get security, get some uncles, some tias, some whatever.
Publicly embarrassed herself, and everyone noticed and was trying to
That's why
nudge her in the right direction.
That's why you have a wedding planner or an event coordinator for your wedding for scenarios like this. They'll be able to catch it and be like,
muscle.
Yeah, they're like, you're not coming in. That's not how it's supposed to go. You got to change or you're not coming. Sorry. And that way you don't have to deal with these problems on your own wedding day and ruin your own day. Where they kind of take care of that scenario for you and you're kind of just focused on just having a great, fantastic time. So it sucks that she kind of ruined it for y'all. I'm glad that like other people went up to her and said, yo, I got another dress. Do you want it? And she blatantly said, no, well, fuck you then. Goodbye.
I am so happy that other people were commenting on it and like attempting to fix the problem. Because it's such a passive aggressive way of being like,
yo,
are
you
you
fucked up.
fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, like, you're supposed to wear white to a wedding, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, girl, what you doing?
was quite a long time.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This one, from the glimpse that I caught of it, might also be absolutely crazy.
All right. Mother-in-law uses deceased person's phone. Well, don't start there. All right. My father-in-law died suddenly 2 years ago. My husband was not able to properly say goodbye and basically had to listen over the phone as they pulled life support. Whoa.
Yeah.
No memorial, no funeral, no closure. My husband cycles through grief. It's been incredibly hard on him. Mother-in-law kept father-in-law's cell phone active. Thought this was just a coping mechanism for her, so whatever. But a pattern has emerged over the past year where she will use father-in-law's old cell to call my husband whenever she wants my husband to do something for her. Imagine the shock of seeing your phone light up of the face and name of someone you loved, someone who is now dead, calling, without any funeral or closure of any kind. The amount of grief this has caused my husband is beyond appalling. For a brief second, he is thrilled because his dad is calling, and then he had to remember that his dad is dead. And then he has to answer the phone to hear his mom asking for money or whatever. Fucking bitch. Does she still use her own cell phone? Yes, for texting and such, but she uses father-in-law's phone to call when she wants something. Has my husband mentioned to her that this tears him up? Yep, but she's still doing it. It's sick, it's manipulative, and it literally puts my husband into a kind of shock afterwards. His skin literally gets cold and clammy. I'm so livid. There are no words for how freaking evil this is. I finally asked my husband if he was okay with me changing the name of father-in-law's contact to mom's second phone. Husband agreed that changing the name and picture would be a good idea, but it still makes me so enraged. My husband liked to look back over the text conversations he had with his dad, and now those are effing labeled mom's second phone.
That is disgusting. That is evil. That's like another level of insanity.
That is torture. Straight up
Yeah.
torture. That's all that
Yeah.
is. Like,
There's times where I wish I could still like text grandma, but I'm not expecting a text back.
I wish I could call, and you know how people will like use their own voice for their voicemail, not like you've reached number 716, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I wish she actually had put her voice on there so I could listen to it. But
We still do have voicemail.
yeah, I gotta put them on my computer. Or no, I think I have them in. I'll double check. If not, I need those. But that's something completely different. Sure, that one was short.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy. Fucker.
It was very loaded, but oh my god, I'm so disgusted that I don't have anything to say. Am I overreacting?
Maybe.
If it's me asking that question, the answer is normally yes.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely a yes.
Me and my wife just had our baby 2 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations.
We waited some time with the visits because the labor was a bit traumatic. Everything is fine with the baby, but we are a bit careful now. We made a few rules and shared it with all our close friends and family who would visit us in the first few weeks. Not too crazy, in my opinion. We don't want people to visit sick or kiss the baby. Also, wash hands and don't pick the baby up without asking.
Mm-hmm.
So, mother-in-law was invited to meet the new grandson.
I already know where this is going. I already know where this is going.
To read because of how badly it's written out.
Do you want me to read it?
No.
Oh, it's all.
She knew the rules because we shared them. She walks right in and pushes me to the side to see the baby. When I asked how they were feeling, she said, "Good, nothing wrong. You can clearly hear she has a cold and sneezes without covering up." I ask her nicely if she wants to leave because we don't want sick people near our newborn. She turns to me and raises her voice at me, saying she has a right to see her grandson. I ask her to leave.
You have a right to fuck off.
She starts to pick up my son and wants to give him a kiss. I say, "Put him down and leave right now." My wife enters the room and backed me up. Mother-in-law now texts my wife to say how bad I am and how I mistreated her. She's also telling this to the family who are not sure what to think. I would like a time of no contact, but also don't want to put my wife in that position. Any advice? Did I overreact or no? No.
Also, why the fuck are you reading so goddamn fast now?
What?
Why am I reading so fast?
Sorry. My brain didn't process.
Okay, so fuck that bitch. Apparently everybody. Fuck them all at this point.
What is with the fucking grandbabies?
Yeah.
I can't be normal about it.
Leave the grandkids alone. You will get your turn to spoil them and give them all the kisses and all the hugs and all the loves. I learned very quickly when my bestie had her first kid, you don't touch a baby without permission.
They're so fragile.
Like when I go to her house, she just had a baby. Bestie, you know who you are. What, 5, 6 months ago, maybe?
Yeah,
I think in like June, 6 months ago, almost. When I went over to her house a few months ago, I think I held her for like maybe 5, 10 minutes, and that was like towards the end, and I was there for like 6 hours. But that's because like I don't want to get her sick or, kiss her or have something happen to her, which she literally spent 9 months slaving over creating. So I'm not going to put their child in jeopardy. They're precious beings. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think there should be a 2-month gap before you see a newborn baby. That's what I think. You should have to wait 2 months for anyone but the parents in the immediate household. Like, let's say it's a family of 3 plus a newborn, mom, dad, the older sibling can see them and whatever,
I
but
think it should be entirely up to the parents.
there's also a lot of things that can come about from just having multiple people in and out of your home, in and out of touching and seeing the baby. So one person can be a carrier, one person can be a catcher, the other person can be a transmitter of something. And then let's say that person who has that, who is a transmitter or a distributor or whatever you want to call it, immunology, kisses the baby, but everybody else didn't kiss the baby, or what have you. Let's say everybody kisses, but the one person that doesn't, they actually end up giving it to them. There's a whole slew of things that can go wrong. This one girl that I went to elementary school with, I think her son is like maybe a year or less, somewhere around there. He had a serious case of RVS or RSV. Like he was hospitalized for a good little bit, like this year. So like those things are life threatening because they don't have the immune system. Like what anytime I am around a newborn baby, I don't just go and pick them up immediately. Or even just a baby in general, unless they're like a year. Okay, fine. They're rubbing their boogers on everything regardless. Sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time with this. But I will always ask. I'll be like, okay, do you mind if I hold them? And then if they say yes, I'll go wash my hands, make sure they're scrubbed all the way up to like my elbows or whatever, hand sanitizer, anything. Clean myself and then go. And I will still not kiss a baby unless it's probably my own.
Yeah, it feels weird to kiss another person's child. That's just weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, baby hair is it smells amazing though. I don't know why that.
Baby, I don't know.
Huh? Yeah, you just take your finger and go like this on there. No, you gotta be very, 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 very delicate with the top of their head. It's almost like, yeah. But yeah, just,
Can you tell I'm not a parent?
those are my thoughts. I think that's just new mother-in-law, JN. Oh, just no mother-in-law.
Just do mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law pretends not to like my food, but then hoards it in her fridge. Oh, it's about to get good. Background. Every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, I make cranberry sauce as my contribution to the family meal. It's a recipe I created and have improved upon over the last 15 years, and everyone is pretty vocal about how much they love it and look forward to eating it, except my mother-in-law. Lily, what are you doing? Oh. My husband's family and mine are both local and get along reasonably well, so most holidays we all gather in one place. This year it was at her house. I brought one large bowl of cranberry sauce and a smaller extra bowl just in case. Dinner comes along and someone at the table mentions my world famous dish, which leads to a few people agreeing that it turned out great as always. Mother in law grumbles, world famous, under her breath, and at that point I notice she doesn't have any on her plate. Whatever, more for me, I guess. At the end of the night, everyone was collecting their dishes from home and packed leftovers from the kitchen, and I noticed my small bowl was missing. I assumed it was left in the fridge, and since it never made it to the table, so I opened it up to look and saw the entire bowl's worth in a clear takeout container that was tucked in the corner. I asked mother-in-law if she had seen the bowl. Turns out she stuck it in the dishwasher despite every other dish being left on the table for people to take home.
Oh my god.
Oh, hell no. If you put a wrong dish in the dishwasher, I'm coming for you.
That was deliberate.
Oh, yeah. I want to believe no one is. No one. I want to believe no one is one. Is. I want to
Do
believe
you
no
need help?
one. No, the way they type this is fucked up.
Yeah. Use
They add.
punctuation.
No, they added an extra is one. So it verbatim reads, I want to believe no one is really. When she meant to say, I want to believe no one is really so pathetic to be petty over something like this. But I can't think of any explanation other than being jealous that my food gets complimented more than hers does. Of course, my husband's response is, I can't imagine paying this much attention to what's on someone else's plate, as though I'm reading too much into it. Truthfully, I'm more bemused and flattered than anything. I just can't believe she's still doing dumb shit like this after me being in the picture for well over a decade.
Jesus.
I've been in OP's position in a way.
Really?
Well, not with a mother-in-law, but where people will try to one up my baking skills, and people would make brownies and they wouldn't be as good as mine, and then they come, like, let's say I let them make brownies and I wouldn't. People will come up and ask me like, "Oh, where are your brownies? Where are your brownies?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't make them this time, but so and so made them." They're like, "No, they're good. They're not as good as yours." I have gotten that before. Not being cocky, but my brownies are good.
So, the one thing that's bothered me about this post is that I don't know if the mother-in-law secretly likes them or just wanted to get rid of the dish because the OP's food is getting more attention than hers. Because it's not like she's like scarfing it down, but
maybe she threw it out.
No, it was in a takeout container in the back of the fridge. So like if she like thought it was absolute dog shit or just wanted to be really petty, she probably would have thrown it out. Threw it out. But yeah.
Which means she probably likes it then. Or maybe she's like, oh, I want to try it, but I don't want to visibly put it on my.
I don't know.
That was a weird one.
It's so petty.
I would do honestly the same thing. I'm very confident about my food making skills. If I know it's good and it's something I'm confident in, and I know it's like World Alley famous, and someone doesn't have it on their plate and they're being sneaky about it, oh hell yeah, I'm taking that personally. You kidding me? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just looking ahead to the next one, and this one is actually a part 2 to something. I'm gonna try and find the part 1.
Oh boy.
So here's the first post to it. Should we invite mother-in-law to little one's first birthday party?
Nope.
So I posted on here several months ago about how my mother-in-law broke several boundaries we had with our miracle rainbow baby boy, and we've had very little contact with her since.
Congratulations.
Well, she hit the fan over the summer when we found out she abandoned my sick father-in-law at home to go live with her girlfriend of at least a year. Yep, you heard that right, folks. She was having an affair while simultaneously doing everything in her power to continually bring alcohol around my father-in-law, who's slowly dying due to alcohol-induced illness. That's wild.
Can we make it legal to like curb stop people at this point in the United States? Because like,
can I please say what you said?
What did I say earlier?
Well, you had your bag of like the ornaments. And you called them gentles.
Listen, if you don't make up your
Breaking
own words, it's not a good time. Words are hard today for Allie, apparently. But yeah, fuck these mother-in-laws. Fuck
There's
all of them. Sorry, continue.
She didn't tell anyone that she left until weeks afterwards. The only reason why it got out was because father-in-law called husband asking him to stop by and please pick up some cigarettes. He stopped smoking years ago. So husband calls his mom, who simply said, "Well, I'm living with my girlfriend now. I don't give a damn what father-in-law does." She told father-in-law she was going on vacation and just left.
I would go to his house and be like, Poppy, friend, we're redoing this will right fucking now.
Yeah.
Get a divorce right now. Sorry, go ahead.
She and husband had lunch by themselves a week later where she complained that she hadn't gotten any pictures of the little one to show off to her friends.
I don't
A
care.
cat is making noise in the background, by the way. But husband refused, saying that we were still unsure how to go about things after her transgressions, which she was upset about, but husband didn't care. We did end up sending her a picture of little one when he turned 6 months old, since that picture was more of a special milestone with a tribute to the baby that we lost in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, the only 2 times we've had contact with her was...
Hey! Sorry, not you. Lily.
right in my ear.
Gotta get her attention somehow. Sorry, continue.
Other than that, the only 2 times we've had contact with her was one phone call where she and her girlfriend were trying to justify their actions, and the other time is when she had to drop off something at husband's house, and she brought her girlfriend along with her as a surprise. It was a grand total of 10 minutes, and the girlfriend was awkward as hell, and mother-in-law was quiet and barely acknowledged us at all, though she did mention that she was sad little one didn't know her. Since then, this visit was in August, it's been radio silence, and husband and I are coming up with a guest list for his birthday party.
Girl, slow it. You go so fast and then I miss parts of the story. Alright, go ahead.
I do it without thinking. Husband doesn't really care one way or another. He's never been close to his mom, even before all of this. And also, I'm indifferent. We probably won't invite her, and if we do, her girlfriend definitely won't be invited. A lot of people on father-in-law's side of the family are going to be invited because we're close with them, and they know about mother-in-law's actions, so that'll be a bit awkward. Part of me wants her to face the scorn she rightly deserves, but I also don't want any drama at the party. Thoughts?
What party is this?
First birthday party of the baby.
See, you go so fast, I thought it was a wedding. I don't know.
After talking more with husband and sister-in-law, who is also very low contact with their mom due to her actions, we have decided not to invite her to the party. As much as my petty self would love to have her see how much her actions have hurt husband and other people she used to be close to, she isn't worth the energy.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly pity the fact that she would choose to walk away from people that would have done anything for her, because she decided that the thrill from getting drunk all the time and the attention she gets from her affair partner was more important than her relationship with her kids and family. My focus will continue to be on being the best mom possible to my little miracle warrior and being the best wife possible to my amazing husband. Okay, so
that was part 1?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to part 2.
Okay. Well, when you're laying like that, yeah, the cushion comes out. I'm very spicy today. I'm sorry.
I don't know this person.
All right, update number 2. Holy shit! Just when I thought things couldn't get any more ridiculous, they did. So yesterday, sister-in-law received a nasty text from mother-in-law's affair partner turned girlfriend, pretty much saying that it's her and my husband's fault that Thanksgiving was ruined for them. They're white trash just like their pathetic father, and that they better back off because they didn't know her and they don't know who they're fucking with. Eye roll. Sister-in-law's husband sees the text message and he responded to her pretty much calling her every name in the book and to stop threatening and insulting his wife. Valid. Homewrecker girlfriend doesn't stop and doubles down on the threats and insults, so sister-in-law took screenshots and sent them to her mother, saying that she hopes she's happy because now she's lost her children forever. Mother-in-law then texted, dear husband, pleading with him to not cut her out and that the messages will stop when he says that she will still have a place in his life. Husband didn't respond. He just took screenshots of the messages, and on Monday we're going to meet with our attorney to get a cease and desist order to mother-in-law and her girlfriend because he and the rest of us had had enough of the drama. The funniest part of this is that later on in the day, I got a text from mother-in-law saying that she loved me, thought of me as the daughter she never had, and she hoped we all had a nice Thanksgiving.
Daughter.
Yep. Again, I didn't respond because I'm not giving a person with a narcissistic tendencies attention, but I took a screenshot of it and we're showing everything, including the threats mother-in-law's girlfriend sent to sister-in-law to our attorney when we see them. This lady is beyond ridiculous and unhinged. She keeps saying that she wants them all to be a happy family, yet she's doing everything in her power to ensure that doesn't happen. Personally, I don't think that mother-in-law and her side piece are going to do anything because they're both pathetic loudmouths who are all bark over text and then are timid in person. Still, we have a ring system in place. Our neighbors are aware of the situation and will call the police if they show up. And we live out in an area with a lot of mountain lions and bears, like very rural. So we have a decent amount of home defense as a last resort, for sure. Also, thank you everyone who commented their support. I showed husband this post and he says thank you and that he'll definitely consider therapy in the near future. He just wants to enjoy the holidays and his birthday that's coming up really soon without stressing over all of this.
Oh, yeah, it was really good.
Oh, you go first.
I'm just sitting back and marveling at that.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Some people need family drama in the family to feel like they need something to do. Like retired
If you want to get
grandmas.
an animal.
Even when I have an animal. But I feel like there's something else going on with this mother-in-law that she's not stating or something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Because how do you leave your husband who's sick to go party with a girlfriend? Like that doesn't make sense, that transition, unless something bad really happened or you're just a bitch and you really don't give a fuck about your family. So my thinking is there's something very mentally not well with this person and she's causing a rift between her family. They should go no contact. They should be talking to the attorney and working with father-in-law to make sure that he's okay, he's being properly cared for. Divorce papers would be a great idea if they're not in place already. Also work with an attorney on that as well. And I think that it's just she's bored, she needs something to do. She probably said something to her girlfriend like, oh, my kids don't do this for me, they don't do that, they don't care, pretty much talking shit, talking down about her kids to her girlfriend, which makes her say those things, you know? That makes sense.
Boy, we still have a handful left.
We don't have to do all of them.
Let's do 2 more.
2 more, okay. Yeah, because we're already at an hour and a half, so that'll be 2 hours.
This next one is short, but it sounds a little funny. It says, you hit that Buddha, I'll hit you. My mother-in-law said this to my son as he was playing gently with his uncle near a candle representing Buddha. She also said, if you knock that over, I'll knock you over.
What's wrong with that?
It's literally a $6 candle. We are deeply reverential, and it getting knocked over wasn't even in question. I just can't fathom someone saying this to their grandson on Thanksgiving, and then they wonder why I don't visit more often.
Honestly, that's some shit I would fucking say. Like, I tell Lily all the time, like, you bite that light on the tree, I'll light your ass up. Even though I'm not gonna do it. But it's the threat that counts, I guess.
It's literally a freaking candle. Like,
Yeah, but you don't want to promote that behavior either.
there's a way to discipline children without being an absolute dickhead to them.
You can say it and not be a dickhead.
That clearly came off as a dickhead.
No, I don't think so. I've had,
Threatening violence against your child? Your grandchild?
I mean, you should have heard the shit that was said to me.
Just because it was said to you doesn't mean it was okay.
Not all of it, but some of it's still valid. Like, you break my window, I'll break your ass. That'll get you to stop fucking around.
Our upbringing was very different.
Have you had plenty of
Mother
wooden...
doesn't talk to me.
I've had so many wooden spoon threats and yardstick threats in my entire life that it is now part of my personality.
My threats were more psychological. Like, I remember they would threaten, we'll call the baby police. And I would be like, terrified.
My mom did do that. She was like, it was right before Christmas. We were putting up Christmas decorations and I was doing something bad, whatever, I can't remember. But she was like, oh, if you don't do this or if you don't stop doing that, then I'll call Adult Protective Services on you. And then and I was like, well, what's that? All right, she said APS. And I was like, what's that? And she's like, you know what CPS is, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, it's for adults. And she was trying to make a point, really. And she was like, yeah, if I call them, they're gonna come take you to an orphanage. And I was like, I don't want that. And I straightened up real quick. But the amount of bullshit, like, I was kind of a bad kid in a way. Like, I would just test the limit. But, like, if my mom went into the kitchen and grabbed a wooden spoon, I was already running up the stairs. Already running up the stairs. But yeah, so a little bit of healthy discipline in a way is good, but not extreme. Like, you don't want to do it all the time. You don't want to do it very aggressively, but there's a way to do it where it's like, hey, cut your shit. Where it's good. Sorry, I'm talking a lot today. My bad.
You should talk. This is a podcast. Don't apologize.
Every time I'm like done with my statement, it's like it's not my job yet. I hope maybe one day then I won't have to work. Please like and subscribe and comment. Maybe we'll be able to make money. Mother-in-law makes me want to divorce my husband. Get the eyeballs all squared away. All right, cool. That's why I'm like reading like this.
I'm sorry you're struggling so badly.
No,
I did not realize that having a phone on light mode was going to be such an adjustment.
It's a little bit of everything at the moment, but it's okay. We're getting through it. Trying to make this simple. What?
I'm covering it.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Trying to make this simple and rant and maybe seek advice. Mother-in-law is a narcissist, plays victim, gaslights. We moved to a house owned by my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Worst decision ever. Had a baby. He was born 10 weeks early and is now 4 months old. Now mother-in-law constantly does annoying and inappropriate things like tell us when babysitting, that when we walk out the door that she doesn't have to follow our rules for him, when I asked her not to wake him up yet from his nap. At Thanksgiving, was hogging him and I asked to have him to change his diaper and she goes, no, I'll do it. Then after arguing, she would not give me the baby. When my own mother comes to help with the baby, she gets mad because we didn't invite her over too. She has a history of constant gaslighting and rude comments. She used to just walk in our house unannounced without knocking or anything too. Husband does address this and threatens privileges, but she just says, oh, I was just trying to help. Oh, I was just joking, or starts crying. I'm tired of arguing about this stuff with my husband. He loves his family, but I cannot stand his mom's behavior. I love him, but he cannot control his mom, and frankly, neither can I. I don't know what my options are at this point. I try to stand up to her, and she just denies her behavior or says that she doesn't mean it, and then the next time she will just do something else insulting or annoying. My husband has tried as well, she just cries or denies everything. Thinking of having a serious talk with my husband. The other thing is we both work and likely will need help with childcare soon from my mom and his mom. She is the one that is local. She makes me dread ever seeing her or being around her. I have to go up.
Look at the cat.
I know. She's a good bean. She's a good real beans. Okay, so I'll let you go first.
When people are parents, just respect them. It's their household. It's their child. It's not your choice. I would have wrestled that baby out of that woman's arms. If someone was holding my own child and refusing to give it back to me.
And that's the thing where people are like, oh, mothers are so protective over their kids nowadays. Like, they won't let anybody watch them. Like, what the hell? And it's because of stuff like this that happens where you can politely and willingly and consenting hand your child over to someone to hold them for an hour or whatever so you can get a break.
And they'll snot over your fucking baby and then wonder why you don't want to invite them over.
Yeah, snot all over them, get them sick, do things with them that you told them not to do, or just frankly not give them back. Like, that's absolutely terrifying. I cannot even imagine. That's got to be completely infuriating. I would say
Talk to the husband.
Talk to the husband, sit him down, say, hey, what do you want to do? Because I can't do this much longer. It's either, you know, us and the baby by ourselves and we go find someplace else to live so we're not in her house, or we go and move with my mom, try to figure out jobs out there or wherever that may be. But you have to do something to get away from this woman, because even if she's babysitting your child, who knows what's gonna happen? Who fucking knows?
He doesn't seem to care all that much, so you never know.
And that's a safety issue. That's very much a safety issue. She could go to, like, she could be watching the baby and literally SIDS could happen. Something completely out of her control. And, you know, like, she wouldn't even probably pick up on it for hours. That's like the scariest thing.
Usually when people set a rule in place,
It's for a good
there's
ass
a reason.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
even if you don't know what that reason is, like, I'm always in the camp where if I don't understand why something is the way it is, I want to ask and I want to get the context. And I will ask. But, like, I still respect going along with it, you know?
Right. It's like, oh, okay, I'll follow your rule, but can you just tell me why that's the rule, just so I understand?
That used to piss off Dad so much, by the way. He would just be like, don't question me, just do it, or just don't do it. And I'm like,
well, I feel like you probably were like, well, why?
Yeah.
And not in a
I wanted to know.
I'm sure it was presented to him in a why. I want to know why.
He would get sick.
To tell you that it's a stupid reason why. And you were probably saying, I just want to know why because I'm curious, even though you didn't finish the rest of that sentence.
Well, part of it was like, if it was something that I didn't agree with, then I would be like, what's the reason? Like, convince me here, come on. You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to know why.
I want to know why.
I was an annoying child.
Oh, I can tell. We love you, Heather.
And you're all stuck with me.
Yeah. But
I think conversation with John, he was.
Is this, first of all, is this supposed to be cut or not cut?
No, completely on record. This is funny.
Okay.
He was like, why don't you dress warmer in the winter?
Yeah, why don't you, Heather? Why don't you?
We had a
What
conversation about it, and I'm like,
sitting on my couch, yet you wear the same leather coat that's like a spring
it's not
coat.
leather.
It's a pleather. And the same
boot. Picture to put in, because it's an awesome coat, and I fucking love it. It's my favorite.
Not a winter coat. We're in Western New York.
It's my coat.
Yeah, you can put a winter coat over top of it, and it'll still be your coat.
I have another coat that's heavier. I just don't prefer to use it.
Well, you can prefer to freeze your tits off then. How about that?
Anyways, this conversation was basically him trying to convince me to do the normal human thing to do, and me being like, I hear you, but I'm me. And I'm like, listen, my parents had 2.5 decades of this. Like,
Fine, freeze your fucking ass off. That's what I tell Lily.
it is like the heavier winter coats, I really don't like the way that they look. And when you've had a lifetime of body issues, you don't really want to feel like you look like a marshmallow.
Everybody in the wintertime looks like a fucking marshmallow. You have 7 layers on.
You can tell my brain that information, and it does not care. I will still be focused on how I look.
Get a pea coat.
Well, you've seen that white coat that I have, right?
No.
It's like thicker. What?
No.
Well, it's like wool, I think, and it's like I'll put a picture of it.
Maybe I have. Anyway,
it's nice. Just like I don't want to wear it every day because it's fucking white, and I don't want to get it dirty.
Then maybe instead of rocks, you should spend your money on getting a coat that you actually like, that you feel confident in, that is not white.
That one right there.
Get a heavier one. It's a fucking winter coat. Jesus goddamn Christ.
I'm set in my ways. I've been wearing that goddamn jacket since like probably high school.
And I still wear it alive. How is it still alive is my question.
Because I love it. I don't beat it up. I just wear it.
Get a fucking...
It's a good jacket.
Get a winter coat or don't complain about being cold. Those are your only 2 options here.
I will complain about being cold. I'll fucking do that.
Then
even if I got a better coat, I would still complain.
Well, you wouldn't be as cold if you got a heavier coat. Thank you for listening to Sappho and her sister. Glad that we could be of service, and like, comment, subscribe.